Ah, okay. Oh, okay. No, no, no. Oh my God. No, sí, sí.
I forgive you. I forgive you today. I told you it was going to be an experience not how you expected. Welcome to UNSHUT, a place where if at any point you feel like you need to shut the up, don't.
Good, good.
Good, can you hear me?
I hear you well, Mo. How are you?
Real good, and you?
Good, what a pleasure, finally.
Yes, finally, and I have so much to tell you.
Very good. Hey, I want to ask you for a favor. Unfortunately, I had something come up last minute, but I was wondering if we can wrap this up in about 30 minutes. Think we can get it done?
Yes, of course.
Perfect, thank you. Something came up with a relative, so I'm having to leave shortly.
No, no worries. It's all good. Before we start, I wanted to tell you, you know how originally we were going to be talking yesterday, right?
Yeah, you said you were going to be in Europe or something, right?
Yes, and look, they ended up canceling my flight.
Ah,
So they ended up rebooking me for a flight today. And I told them, you know what? Better not. Better rebook for tomorrow because I have an interview today with Alfonso and I'm not missing it. So I stayed here in London.
Ah, you should have let me know. I could have tried to accommodate, but thank you so much.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for giving me the time.
Same to you.
Something I wanted to talk about, first of all, is my English, right? Because officially you are my first guest that I'm doing an episode with speaking Spanish, so I'm very happy about that. So if it comes out, my tongue gets tied, or my Spanglish comes out, sorry, okay?
Don't worry about it. We can mix it up.
Exactly. Is it important for you and your wife for your kids to learn more than one language, or are they still too young for that?
Oh, yeah, yeah. They're already learning. Practically already learning both, but Spanish, obviously, it's their primary language because we live in Mexico City, but also a little bit of English. Curiously, my wife is from Slovakia, but that language they haven't learned. She doesn't really like to talk to them in her language. I mean, they know some words here and there, but according to her, it's not a language that is quite practical for them to learn because why confuse them, right? I don't necessarily agree. I believe at this age, when they're little, you can obviously start them in many languages, and little by little, they'll pick them up, but that's not how it is for now, so they won't learn any Slovak.
Not yet, not until they start to ask, right?
Exactly, exactly.
You learned English before you went to the US to study, or did you learn English when you got to the States to study?
No, no, I already spoke English just like my kids. Since I was younger, I attended a school that taught in both languages. Maybe not as much as they do now. I mean, they practically speak more English at school than they are taught in Spanish. Now, that's the system that I think is good. Not in my case. I went to a bilingual school, but they gave us at most 2 hours a day or 1 hour a day of English. And I also had the opportunity as a child to go to summer camps and to reinforce a little when I arrived in school in the United States because I already spoke it quite well, to be honest with you.
How cool. In one of your responses to a fan, you talked over the topic Blue Heart, which reflects melancholy in your lyrics, right? What color would you write to give a song title to your kids now that we're on the topic of what languages they speak?
That is a pretty big question. I think that on the one hand, it would be white speaking because of the purity of the innocence that children have, that is. It's incredible and is something that, to those of us who have already lost it over the years, it fills us again with hope and gives us the illusion that things they can be interpreted and seen in another way. I'm very aware of that. The truth is that I always try to take advantage of every time I'm with them and get into their world and their way of thinking and how they see things, right? So I think it would be white in that sense, although also blue, because ultimately for me, blue is still a synonym for, as we said, melancholy, which sometimes has a negative connotation, but it is not. It is simply a form, like me, I interpret it as having a deeper sensitivity, perhaps a hypersensitivity to how you receive life and things. And sometimes it can make you sad, but other times the other way around. They can make you more grateful For, well, I don't know about, seeing a flower. You understand that today, this is a day that I am alive. So it's a hypersensitivity that I associate it with the color blue and with the word melancholy. And that's why I also think I would go there in that sense.
Well said. I think that's why I'm always seeing that people refer to you as a poet. You're very poetic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well said. Do you have an original Moenia song that you've sang to your kids as like a lullaby?
No, not as such. The truth is no. I mean, not like a lullaby, no. And so many people in the moment my first kid was born, Santiago, they said, oh, he will for sure write him a song, and it's going to be an incredible song. And I didn't do it, neither for my daughter Mila. I think consciously, and it relates to what I was saying earlier, they're present in understanding how I see life today, but specifically, I haven't composed a song for them, even though it's always in the back of my mind. But yeah, since they were little, they've known me as a singer. They know Moenia's music. Recently, something happened that was very touching for me at the most recent show we did in Auditorio Nacional, which, for those who are listening and don't know, it's one of the most important theaters, if not the most important theater in Mexico. Not the biggest when it comes to capacity, but the most important for sure. We had the opportunity in February to have our second concert there in this new tour that we're doing now, which is the Pixel Tour. And in the past, my kids have been present, but in this occasion, only my son was present because my daughter was sick, so she did not attend. And my wife shared with me that she was taken back and she was so surprised because when I was performing Manto Estelar, she said that my son Santi was so connected to the performance, singing along, and then he started to cry. And as he sang along, the tears kept coming down. And so that surprised me. And after that, I had the opportunity to bring it up to him without putting him on the spot or making him feel embarrassed by any means. And I asked him, hey, I was told this, and asked him why. And his response was so cool. He said that that's a song that he recognizes since he was little, and he has been singing it since he was little, and also remembers me singing it to him. And he said that that made him emotional. And I was like, fuck. Imagine your kid, your own kid, telling you that, even though I hear it from so many people throughout the years, people tell me they're moved by my songs, or that they dedicate it to someone, or that it's their favorite song. But when it comes from your kid, it comes with a completely different meaning and feeling.
Good and spot on, going back to what you were just talking about, the word melancholy, right? It doesn't always have to be associated with sadness, right? I think that was the best example that came out organically just now, that the melancholy he was feeling was profound. So wow, I love that.
And he never said it was because it made him sad. He just said it reminded him, and imagine that he is only 9 years old. And he said that he remembered when he was little, and that it was also one of the first songs he knew of Moenia.
Well, and for the next time, remind him that it's not just him, that millions of other people too. A lot of us know that Beyoncé talks about Sasha Fierce being her alter ego, right? When she's performing live. Do you have an alter ego that you've recognized throughout the years while on stage?
Well, I would say yes, and I would say it's the Pichardo that's on stage. The people that know me, they tell me that they say I transform and that I am not like that on a daily basis, and they can't imagine me on a regular in that form. The truth is, you could say I am a pretty introvert person and extremely timid when it comes to being social. Oftentimes, that can be misinterpreted as being stuck up, but on the contrary, I am not that. Socializing just doesn't come very easy to me when it comes to people I don't know, or like some people, they can go to the gym and say hello to everyone, but not me. I like to get in and get out without talking to anyone, and so sometimes people think I'm stuck up, but I'm not. I have a ton of friends who are also musicians who are just the way they are on stage when they go to the store or go to a restaurant. I am not. I really do transform being on stage, even to the way I dress, and that's who I am on stage. But at home, I am just Alfonso, the Alfonso I have always been even before I started in music and was recognizable. I'm just Alfonso, the dad, or Alfonso who's going to school events, etc. So there is a bit of a transformation there for sure.
Wow, and that was the reason I got pumped up to write you. I saw you for the first time at Besame Mucho,
Uh-huh.
and I grew up with your music, right? My mom introduced us to your music when we were younger, and she always talked about the illusion of seeing you live, and there was an occasion where she had plans to go see you in LA, but my little brother got sick, so she wasn't able to, and so she missed out on seeing you live. So we went together to Besame Mucho,
Oh, how awesome.
and I have always loved your music, but I had never watched your videos or simply had the opportunity to go and watch one of your concerts, watch you live, and I was in complete shock. For real, it's something I've always talked to my mom about. I have experience in choreography, and I told my mom he has something that cannot be taught. It's a stage presence you can't really explain. And I was just stunned. And I was just there like I couldn't believe it.
Thanks so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And so I was there with the illusion. I got motivated and was inspired. And I told my mom, you know what? I'm going to get after it. And I didn't tell her who I was going to write. But then I wrote you, and the universe and God, gave me the luck to have the opportunity to be able to connect with you. Incredible.
No,
What an awesome story, and how great that finally your mom was able to see us live. Even though it was a short set, but it was good. And better yet, having you by her side, because that makes it something extra special. And thank you for what you say, because coming from someone like you, who's been a choreographer and knows it, makes me feel really good. Because people will say I dance, and I'm like, I don't dance. I don't know how to dance. I just interpret and use my body to interpret, and I do it the most natural way. And sometimes I even worry myself because you saw it for yourself. I can be a little intense in the way I can move on stage with the jumping and such. And I'm 51 years old, Mo. So I ask myself, how much more will my body be able to take to keep performing this way? But I had the opportunity to see Depth Mode to the people who are watching and know they're not just one of my favorite groups, but also of the other members of Moenia. They were one of our first influences when we got started. And now that I watch them, they have 10 years on us, not just by age, but exactly 10 years in the industry. And I was filled with emotion and hope watching him because he doesn't perform the way he did 15, 20 years ago. He said it himself. His body can't take it anymore. And even then, he gives a great performance, and a great performance that continues to move everyone. And I've watched them twice on the tour they're currently on. And so I thought to myself, all right, there's hope for me to keep doing.
And you will totally get there, because that was another thing I learned about you was your age. I was like, no way, he is 51 years old. Watching you, I thought I was watching someone who was my age. I just couldn't believe it. And I'm 34 and I get a lot of Botox, and I don't want to. No, I do want to get wrinkly, but in time, But I was like, wow, 51. I could not believe it. So you look young. Keep doing what you're doing, because I believe you enjoying what you're doing is what gives you your youth.
Yes, it has a lot to do with it, and a lot of people tell us that. And to me, there is no other response. It's dedication, and obviously it's not just that, but a great part of it is to dedicate yourself to what you enjoy, which is not easy, and not a lot of people make it, is the truth. But you have to find it. You have to find your joy, because I think once you find it, the levels of your stress and such completely change. It's not the same to stress yourself out or worry yourself for something that you don't enjoy doing versus worrying. And of course, everything you do will also come with stress, but it's a different type of stress. You can even call it a positive type of stress that actually motivates you instead of holding you down and keeping you unhappy and wanting to look forward to something like the weekend to get away from it, or even an escape like watching Netflix and drinking a beer, which is another story. But I think that those of us who have the luxury of dedicating ourselves to what we enjoy possibly do have the advantage of staying young a little longer.
Yeah, right? And now that we're talking about your performances, something that also really inspired me a lot from watching you live, it was your fashion. Your fashion to me is like, how would you say it? Well balanced, right? Because you're edgy like a rocker, but your sound is also very synth pop, right? It's very like electric, so it's well balanced. Have you had a moment where you have thought about taking your fashion sense and starting your own line?
No, the truth is no, and I'll tell you. It's funny that you say that because something the three of us in Moenia have always thought, specifically Meaty and I, because the two of us think of this often. Jorge is a little more relaxed when it comes to this, but we have always believed that the stage is another thing. When we talk about our concerts, we don't in fact call them concerts. To us, they are shows because it's a show, it's a performance, it's the lights, it's everything that comes with it that makes it a show. And so we always go into it thinking that, and we agree that the way we style ourselves should reflect that. But at the same time, we are very simple. If you notice throughout the years, our basic has always been wearing black. I'll tell you, if anything, my kids think something is wrong with me when I'm wearing something other than black. They'll even poke fun. So with that, we have consistently carried that over to how we dress on stage. However, we don't ever coordinate. But there was a point back in the day with the band, we did have a stylist, but it did not last. And in my opinion, the experience in using a stylist or a fashion consultant just didn't go well. We almost felt like we were wearing costumes, and so we never did that again. We decided everyone just wear what you're comfortable in. When it comes to me, and you knowing more about this, you'll have to tell me if I'm going about it right or wrong, but my style is a mix of something dark, like goth, but not entirely goth, just hints of goth, and sometimes a little rocker, but less. And I really like dark romance, like poets like Edgar Allan Poe. Almost like that style of a vampire, but not as the vampire, but before they're a vampire, if that makes any sense. That I have always liked, and is always present in everything I wear, one way or another, whether it's in the coats, or the gloves, or if I wear a flower, but that's just the way I like it.
It's exactly how I explained. I'm like covered in goosebumps right now because I didn't even know I knew that word, goosebumps. They're like chills, right?
And you used it well.
Yes, good, thank you. I feel it because that's exactly how I explain my style too. So I'm in like, wow, I'm in heaven. I know how much you enjoy food. I've actually noticed a lot how much you like food. Have you tried Guatemalan food?
I've tried Guatemalan food, yes. Maybe not, how do I say this? Not entirely sure if with the true authenticity and the way it should be, but yes. But right now in this moment, I don't remember it very well, so I couldn't tell you an exact dish. But of course, the times I have gone to Guatemala, I have always tried to find something good, authentic, and traditional. So yeah, for sure.
Okay, it's okay. I mean, you broke my heart just a little because I'm Chapin, but it's okay. No. For the next time you go to Guatemala, just let me know and I'll tell you what plates to have.
Well, tell me some right now. Maybe I'll let you know if something sounds good.
Some baches, some chuchitos, some rellenitos.
What are those, like little finger foods? A little bit like that?
Yeah, a little bit. And there's a lot of different types, but the one that's just like my weakness, they're the baches. They're tamales, but made out of potato. And look, I can literally eat like 10. It's okay. How do you say it? I forgive you. I forgive you today.
It's like,
Now I have homework.
Now you have homework. Exactly. I know that we have a pretty short time, but something I want to do with you, and it's something that I enjoy doing with my guests, is I like to ask pretty silly questions, not to take everything so serious. I want the people who I have come on to talk with me, they can escape, the basic questions such as, what's your favorite song? Or how did you write these lyrics, right? Especially people like you. You're an icon. You've done a ton of interviews, right? So we're going to have a little bit of fun, but just please don't hang up on me, okay?
No.
I have a couple of funny questions for you because my mom really does adore you. You know how I was telling you she showed us your music. So, since she loves you so much, today's topic is going to be called If Alfonso Was My Stepdad. I'll ask you some questions.
Muy bien, va.
Okay. So, the first one I have, and it's like role playing, okay?
Okay.
If Alfonso was my stepdad, how would you tell my mom that you think I'm gay? Let's see. I would tell her, hey, check this out. I feel like Mo has different interests. I notice him really into and worried about how he dresses and how he looks. He always leaves the house covered in cologne, very well dressed, and well, he hasn't talked to me or anything about having a girlfriend or something like that. So maybe he could be heading in that direction. Perfect. That was literally my childhood.
Muy bien.
Okay, so that was warm up. No más, we're warming
Okay.
up, okay? The last one I have, if Alfonso was my step, and look, I wrote this down. Sometimes I just write down the ideas that come to me and then I wonder, why do I do this, okay? So, but like I told you, rule number 1 is you cannot hang up on me, so just go along with it. If Alfonso was my stepdad, how would you tell my mom that you are leaving her for me? That I'm gonna leave her for you? Yes. But why would I leave her for you? Well, because you fell in love with me. But I'm your step.
Okay. Okay. No. Oh my God, no, sí.
You really need to ask yourself why you did write that down. Please don't scold me.
No, bueno.
That is just harsh. But I hope that never actually happens to me ever because that's just a tough place to be in. But I would tell your mom, look, I have something very, but very, very difficult to tell you and confess to you. I never imagined that something like this would ever happen, but you've seen that I have been the best husband I could be and the best stepdad to Mo. But now that he is older, I have been feeling these feelings that have made me feel extremely conflicted, really. And well, I don't want to cause any major problems or sadness with you, including him. And so I would prefer to leave you and head in a different direction because I don't want to hurt anyone, you know? So right now, you don't understand it. And later on, with time, I could better explain this to you, how it is. But right now, at this very moment, my decision is I can no longer be a part of this family. That's it. That's how it would be. I wouldn't stay with you after leaving your mom. I would leave because I wouldn't want to hurt her. Beautiful. I wouldn't hurt your mother like that. Yeah, you're so sweet. So, all right, cut. We can now go to the Emmys and we will give you your award there.
Thank you.
Crazy questions, fucking Mo. I told you it was going to be an experience, not how you expected. So I did warn you. It's all good. I know you have to get going here shortly, but first of all, congrats on your new song with Alex Sintek. Thank you. See, I love it. I am extremely grateful for giving me your time, for being here on my podcast, and this was truly an experience like I could not even imagine. So thank you so much. Well, yeah, and I want to tell you a couple of things. The first thing is, what bad luck, because if you would have moved the interview just a day, the way you mentioned in the beginning, maybe I wouldn't have any plans and we could have talked some more. And secondly, I have had a lot of fun. You really do have a charm and a talent to make us, who are on this side, feel very comfortable. It's an interview very different. And how you said at the beginning or just a little bit ago, look, I've been interviewed many times and I love your style. I love your approach and the easing into the questions. And in fact, questions
that are born within, from your experience, not based on what you think that interests others to hear a response to or a classic question. That's really good because it makes this experience very authentic. I can tell you that this is a type of interview that my fans, if and hopefully they tune in, they're going to really enjoy it because what they look specifically these days is different experiences like this, nothing repetitive. For them to learn something they didn't know about me, something they've never heard, and I believe this interview, 95% has done just that.
Wow. That is just, I don't even know what to say. You left me completely speechless. That's amazing.
It's how you do it. Congrats to you. Thank you for contacting me, Mo, and so glad we were able to make it happen.
Yes, likewise. So nice getting to know you and getting to speak with you, and I'm sure we will connect another day.
Thank you, and say hello to your mom for me.
No?
Yes, I'll send her your greetings and your love.
Send my hello all the way from here. What is her name?
Her name is Anna.
Anna.
Thank you for taking Mo to the concert, and thank you for showing him good music.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Alfonso. Hope everything goes well with your family today. And once again, thank you so much for giving me your time.
Gracias a ti, Mo. Thanks a lot. Thanks to everyone that's listening.
Yes, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey, if you've made it this far, don't forget to follow the socials on the screen or in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next week.